Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks, and I thought I'd slip a random destruction in before I get sort of onto a couple of other bits and bobs. And you know, there's the IS-3A coming out soon, so I'll more than likely be doing a review of that one. But for now, it's a yeah, kind of a German edition of random destruction, all German tanks, and I suppose in a way a sort of belated tribute to the winning nation of the Tank Bowl. So yeah, here we go. I'm in the Panzer 2J PS. This is the free PlayStation Plus tank. I think it's still available. If you've got PlayStation Plus, just go to the PlayStation Store and you should be able to download it for free. And you can actually get a sort of plain version without this skin on it on the Xbox. And if you don't have Xbox Live Gold at the moment, load World of Tanks up and join Xbox Live Gold through World of Tanks, through the garage, and you will get the Panzer 2J, which is the same as this but without the skin, like I say, and you get that for free. Now it's got preferential matchmaking, it's tier 3 premium, light tank, believe it or not, and it's basically got the armour of a tier 5 heavy, and the trade-off for that is having a gun with absolutely crap penetration. So unfortunately you do have to resort to firing just about solid premium ammunition, so it can be a very expensive tank to run. In fact, I've lost as much as something like 64,000 in one of these, and that was in a match where I did quite well, and just happened to fire a lot of ammo. So yeah, it can be a bit expensive, but 138.46 rounds a minute, it's kind of like a machine gun. As you can see there, it's kind of set up like an autoloader. It's only a 2 centimetre, wildly inaccurate at 0.57, but you just get close and blast them. But like I say, it is the armour that is the big selling point of this, and in fact the Panzer 2J sells for a lot of money on the PC version of World of Tanks, or it did last I heard anyway. And it's got, well, the turret armour is 80mm on the front, 50 on the side and 50 on the rear. And it's the same for the hull. So the hull and the turret are both the same. 80 front, 50 sides, 50 rear. And as you can see, with a bit of angling, you can block a lot of damage. Now, it's incredibly tough. I mean, when you get into a tier 3 match, apart from Arty and the odd tank destroyer, you can just dominate the match. In a tier 4 match, which is what you mostly get into in this, unfortunately, it can be a different story. However, this Panzer 4D has proved not to be much of a problem, but yeah, you do have to go full scrublord and just go with the premium ammo, because you only have 23 penetration on your standard rounds and only 46 on your premium. So yeah, that's why you have to go for the premium, because 23 penetration is just not enough. Anything apart from point blank and side or rear is just gonna bounce, unfortunately. And with only 11 average damage per shot as well, you have to put a lot of shots into things. But as you can see, I have managed to put 69 rounds into things, and apart from that one arty hit, had taken no damage so far at all. And like I say, with a bit of angling, it can just bounce and bounce and bounce. But you do, like I say, tier 4 matches, you've got to be careful, because although 80mm, you know, it is still a lot, there are things that can, you know, get through that quite easily. But it is a good, fun tank to have a little run around in every now and again. I don't take it out very often, but like I said in the, I think it was the BT7A review, that it's been quite fun because there's been a lot of tier 3s being played because of the free tier 3 premium we got. So I've been able to get into a lot of tier 3 matches with this. It's just, this wasn't one of them. Now, it's just about over. There's basically the 3 arty left, and it's just a case of whether I can get to any of them before anybody else does. It's not the fastest machine, as you can see. It is quite slow, and that's because of all that extra armour that's on them. There's one. Can I get him? Did I do a bit of damage? Not sure. Let's see if I can get a bit on this guy. Yeah, there we go. And at range, the trick is just not to hold your finger on the trigger. Well, it's similar with the Blitzen and any other tank with this sort of gun. At range, just short bursts, let the sight settle down, and you know, you're going to miss quite a few shots, but you'll get more in that way. And there we go, nice little wind starters off. And yeah, a 28,000 loss, and that's with a premium account as well, and a victory. So yeah, it is an expensive habit, but I came out of that with an ace tanker, which is nice. 979 damage done and 655 blocked, and don't forget that was a tier 4 match. And I do an average of 11 per shot, and that put me top of the table, so I was quite happy with that one. I do like that tank, it is fun, but it is expensive to run. And it can be as frustrating as hell, but when everything comes together for you, you know, it is a nice, fun tank to have a run in every now and again. Definitely a seal clubbing tank, definitely. But if you haven't picked one up yet, just go and pick one up, it's free, and like I say, it's worth it for when it does come together. Anyway, here we are for the second match, and I'm in the Tiger 1. Fully upgraded. I've got the long 88, 8.9 rounds a minute before equipment and skills. 203 average pen, 240 average damage, 100mm on the front of the hull and the turret, and 80 on the sides and the rear of the hull and the turret again, which seems to be a bit of a theme with some of the German tanks. I do like the Tiger 1. You know, when it first came out, this game, or well, not when it first came out, but when I first started playing it, which I think was a month or two after it came out on the PlayStation 4, I did the typical noob thing. I wanted a Tiger, so I went straight down that line, got to the Tiger, did not know how to play it at all, got slaughtered, hated it, sold it, and yeah, now I know better. I've bought it back, and I just love it. It's a fantastic tank. It really is. And I think I've said before, when you're top tier, it can be just so, well, glorious is the only word to describe it. Especially when you're coming up against, you know, the sort of things that it faced in the war. You know, the Shermans, the T-34s, and it just makes you realise how scary it must have been for the guys in the actual tanks in the war, coming up against these Tigers and just watching the shells bounce off the front harmlessly. Now I know, obviously, historically, I think they're a bit slower than this, if I remember rightly, and they didn't have the long 88, they had the short 88, but it was still a formidable gun and could still just destroy the Allied tanks, which was unfortunate for them. But in this game, it does have the long 88, it does have the mobility, and I love it. Very accurate gun as well. Now, I don't even think I said it. I mean, yeah, tier 7 match, South Coast Rain, and yeah, standard battle. I'm coming down the western side. There you go. Forgot all those details at the beginning because I was just rabbiting on. Anyway, try and get back to actually commentating a bit more now. So I've come, well, up the western side. You do have to be careful because quite often that large hill where the northern spawn is, you'll get people sat on there sniping across here, so you do have to try and place yourself so you've got a bit of hard cover covering your left if you're coming up this way. But I'm going to try and take out this AT7. I can't see the weak spot that's on the front of the hull. As you look at an AT7, I think there's a machine gun port on the right hand side of the hull as we're looking at it, so with the left hand side of it, yeah, opposite side to the gun, with a like a square gun shield around it, and that's a weak spot. Also the commander's hatches as well, obviously, but if you can't see the commander's hatch, go for that part. Now I've taken him out, but I've put myself in a bit of a silly situation, and I've got a Tiger 1 coming up on me from the well, in front of me now, but it was the left. And also that Panther sat up on the hill where I said some of them might be. He was putting some shots in, so I did rush that a little bit, and luckily I've managed to, I did take a bit of damage from the Tiger, but I managed to shrug a bit off and had some Allied tanks come and lend me a bit of a hand. So that took the pressure off a bit there. Now I've got to try and angle myself a bit better against this Panther. In fact, did I say it was a Panther 2 before? I don't know, I might have done. But it's a Panther anyway, and you know, it's just taken out my gunner. See, 198mm of pen. They can go through the front of a Panther. getting all muddled up with my German tanks. Go through the front of a Tiger quite easily if he's fully upgraded, and with him having the height advantage as well, it exposes some of that softer armour on the sloped part of the upper glacis. Yeah, and I've really just... I'm surprised I survived this encounter, and I really should have just pulled back and got into a better position much sooner than that. And basically, you know, looking back at this, it sort of needlessly wasted quite a bit of my health there. And here I was thinking this was a good match. Well, it did turn out a good match, but yeah, I think I survived that by pure luck rather than anything else, and I really should have pulled back and got to a more advantageous position quicker. But it's something I can learn from. That's the advantage of doing these YouTube videos. I can learn from my mistakes by watching them back as well. And even the matches that, you know, when I sort of edited this video in, I thought, yeah, it's a decent match. It turned out to be. But even that part, watching it back, I realised that I did make a mistake there. Needlessly lost health, like I said. And I'll try not to make that mistake again. But now, there's only two guys left. There's a heavy tank and a medium. I've got an A44 and a Tiger P. Now, I don't know, I seem to think the Tiger P gets a bit of a hard time. I might be wrong in that. I quite enjoyed it. I realised, you know, I'm enjoying the Tiger 1 a lot more, but I did enjoy the Tiger P. It's got very good, solid frontal armour. There he is. Not so much on the side of the turret, though, unfortunately for him. And that just leaves the A44 and whether I can get to him in time or not. But yeah, it's, you know, good, solid frontal armour, and if it weren't for dodgy electric, was it transmissions? Or was it the electric drive motors that drove the tracks? I think if it wasn't for those setting on fire occasionally, the face of World War II could have been the Tiger P quite easily. But as it happens, this one won out in the end. And that's the match. So not a bad match. I did manage to survive, although to be honest, after the sort of engagement with the Panther, apart from that shot on the Tiger P, I didn't really have much else to do. Now again, that was during the War Party op, which I did love. That was a fantastic op, and I came out of that with a high caliber, a first class mastery, and 3,418 damage done, and that was enough to get me at the top of the table with not far off triple the next guy. So yeah, really happy with that match. But it just goes to show what a beast the Tiger can be when it's top tier as well. And then we've got one more match coming up for you, and yes, it is a German vehicle. Like I said, all of them were, and it's the Tiger 2. Yes, I think I mentioned that I've got that now, and I love it. I don't know why I've not gone for it before. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think this was my very first match in it. In fact, yeah, it is. It's completely stock, so it's got the long 88. But instead of having the 8.9 rounds a minute from the Tiger 1, it does have a surprisingly slower rate of fire. I was quite surprised by that. I thought it would be at least possibly the same. I don't know why, they normally are, or even sometimes slightly increased. But yeah, a reduced rate of fire, 7.32, same 203 pen, same 240 damage. And this turret is quite weak. It's 100mm on the front. It's the, well, as you can see, the one with the commander's hatch that sort of sticks out on the side a bit, and the front of the turret is curved from top to bottom. Now it's only 100mm on the front of the turret, and a lot of the time, myself included, until recently, with this turret I would still always go for the commander's hatch, not realising that the front was only 100mm of armour. So if you do come up against a Tiger 2 and you're struggling to pen its hull for whatever reason, or you know, you can't see its hull and it's got that curve to the front of the turret and this bumpy commander's hatch, then just go straight through the front of the turret and you shouldn't have much of a problem, like say 100mm of armour. It's got 80 on the sides and the rear of the turret, and the hull armour is 150 on the front and 80 on the sides and rear. But like I say, this was, I think, my first match in it. In fact, yeah, it was. And it's completely stock. And it was kind of sort of... yeah, this is going to be cheesy. Love at first fight. Yeah, there you go. It really was. I had this match and just loved it. And in fact, just before I sat down to start editing this together, I got it fully upgraded because I'd unlocked the... Is it the long 105? I'd unlocked that on the 4502B, so it made it, when I basically unlocked the second top package on this, for about 22,000 XP, it was basically unlocked the top package and was fully upgraded. So I've now got this fully upgraded and had quite a decent match in it actually, yeah, quite enjoyable. Anyway, again, sorry, forgot to say where we are. Tier 8 match, so on top tier again, which was nice. It's always nice to in your first couple of matches in a new tank. Thiepval Ridge, standard battle, and yeah, I've come along the east, as you can see. Now, this position that I'm in, when there's... yeah, you've got to be careful of RT in here, and I was just going to say, when there's one RT, but yeah, when there's no RT, it's a great position. When there's one RT, it's not too bad, but you've got to be careful. But where it is, if you're starting from the southern spawn and you get to this point, there's, well, as you can see, the raised bank, and it's sort of a V shape pointing towards the northern spawn, with a raised bank either side and quite a large rock that can provide a little bit of hard cover if you need it. But it's a really good place for going hull down, or at least hiding your lower glacis. And as you can see, I've just angled slightly, and I'm right in the middle, and I'm spotting all these guys, or, well, hopefully it's me that's spotting some of them, and I can put shots into them as well. And I've got my lower glacis covered, and yeah, I could just sit here quite comfortably for a little bit. I don't want to get too comfortable though, because obviously, like I say, art is in play, although touch wood so far has been leaving me alone. Now, that's one of the T-29s done. It's quite a... Oh! Yeah, speak of the devil. I was just about to say, they'd made a fair push down here. A couple of T-29s, these mediums. Now, I think I'm right in saying... Yeah, I am right in saying I think with the Tiger 2 it's a bit like the Panther 2. You don't quite get your full gun depression over the front of the tank. So I was just having to rearrange myself there a bit, and got a bit sloppy on the angling, and that T-29 took out my loader. But I've taken him out in return. And now let's see if we can get rid of this 3001p. That's another tank that seems to get a bit of a bad time. I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was too bad. I didn't think it was stunning. But I didn't think it was as bad as sort of some people make out. Although that is a really big stupid commander's hatch on top. Now, it's not been too bad down here, and yet derp moment, completely missed the T-28 prototype, and nearly just went driving past him. But I did see him just at the last second, and thankfully he was facing the wrong way, otherwise that could have been really nasty. And he's done. He was in a bad situation. I think I took him, yeah, I took him by surprise as much as he did me, I think. Now, the other side of the map, they don't seem to have pushed on, but they've put up a very good defence. The enemy team haven't been able to push down, so yeah, good on them. They've mounted a good defence over there, it seems. And we do have the advantage at the moment of 4 tanks difference, so hopefully, if nothing goes completely tits up, then we should win this one. Fingers crossed. But then again, yeah, they're sort of famous last words, aren't they? Yeah, we should win this one. And that's when all hell breaks loose. Everybody just gets a sudden rush of shit to the brains, and you end up losing in a humiliating way. But let's see what happens in this one. Well, there's us 3 that have managed to push through on this eastern side. myself, this Tiger, who looks pretty much stock. In fact, he's actually got the howitzer. Is that the 105 howitzer he's got on there? And we've got this tank destroyer with us. I didn't see if it was an AT. Is that an AT7? I think it is. Now that M7 should be able to finish him off with this one, and of course it bounces. Mind you, I think did the M6 get a? Did that get a buff to its frontal armour? And I think the T1 heavy did, didn't it? I can't remember if the M6 did or not in the last update. Anyway, I managed to clip him in the turret, and he's done. And we've got some shots coming in from that direction. And if I can just get round behind this hill. Oh, the MT-25's done. But now there's no way that they can get shots at me because I've got that hill in between us. Now, if M-Gala 2 is watching, I do apologise. I did wonder what you were actually saying SOS for, and it never occurred to me at the time that you might be getting the same sort of shots that I was just taking coming in from that side. So, yeah, I do apologise. I did not come back to help you because I could have put my tank in front of you and bounced those shots. So yeah, if you are watching, sorry about that. Anyway, there's just a Churchill 1 left who must be feeling the heat now and sweating a little bit. There's a medium tank left right over on the north eastern side. In fact, I've been calling this eastern side all through the game, haven't I? It's not. It's the west, of course. In fact, I bet there's going to be a few comments about that, but I've realised now. And yeah, they're over on the eastern side. Anyway, at medium in the northeastern corner, I'm not going to get to them, but I might be able to get to Artie, depending on where he is, to do a bit of damage to him. Although, with me being stock, I do only have a 650 horsepower engine. Yeah, I think he wanted me to help him, and got a bit peed off because he did seem to sort of ram me a little bit there. Anyway, we did end up with a victory in the end, and not a bad match. Again, it was through the war party sort of op, and I'd got a ×3 on there to try and get the first upgrade done. But that was a cracking match for my first one. 3,305 damage done, 1,800 blocked, just over 1,000 assisted, a high caliber, a top gun, and a first class mastery. And I just fell in love with the Tiger 2, and I love it even more now it's fully upgraded. But there you go. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's sort of Random Destruction German edition, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. I did pick up the Tetrarch. What a fun little tank that one is, so I might just do a quick little review of that, but I'm not entirely sure. And don't forget that random battles starting Friday, I think, and running through Sunday, but it is limited to tier 5, but this time it's not a test. I think it is actually live, so don't forget about that. I'm not sure what time on Friday, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Friday. Anyway, until tomorrow, take care out there, and I will catch you next time. See you later.